Hey everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Hey, like I promised, I have a tutorial here to show you step by step how to go through this free little bag. Right now it's free. I'll have the link for it down below. But it's really cute, especially for Easter time. It's an in the hoop zipper bag. Cute. It's fully lined and it's just adorable. But I have some tips to show you, so stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to have the link for you down below of where to get this exact free one this week. So I think it's just this weekend. So hopefully if you're seeing this on Sunday, you run over there and get it if you want this to stitch along with me. It's from In the Hoop by Share.com. Like I said, I'll have it linked down below for you. But once you get it, you're going to extract it and then open up Embrilliance. At least that's what I did because I use Embrilliance. You open it in whatever software you want or just open it on your machine and use it that way. It's good to go. But I did want to show you one thing. If you open it in Embrilliance, check this out. When I have Embrilliance open and I go to open, these are all of the files that come in this. Now, I wanted to show you something. If I click on this one right here, the DST file, which is not for my machine, notice the bunny is upright. This one, the bunny is upright. When I go down to the design I need for my machine, which is the PES file, look at my bunny's sideways. It doesn't work along with her instructions like that. If you download the PDF file, is a PDF file of complete instructions. They just might be a little bit confusing for you if you're a newbie. That's why I kind of wanted to get on here and show you and help you so that you can do your first bag. The little bags are a little bit harder than the larger bags, but still doable, and you'll get the idea. So let's get stitching. Oh, first, let's look at Embrilliance. I want to show you something. I'm going to open my PES file, and I use that because I use a brother. The first thing that I did was I went ahead and rotated this guy. So he went along with the instructions on the PDF file. So I just came right up here and I said, rotate clockwise, 90 degrees. Oops, gotta select them first so they know what to rotate clockwise. Okay, there he is. And now I'm going to go to File, Save, Stitch File As, and I'm going to save it on my thumb drive as, now it won't show up here because it's not in over there, but I'm going to save it as a PES file because that's what my machine uses. If you don't use PES, you can use Embrilliance and save anything for any type of machine you might use. Look at all these different file formats that you can use. So don't be alarmed if you always see me talking about brother machines because that's what I have. Any machine you have, you can save things in Embrilliance right here. So I've already saved it, and now here it is open. So I just wanted to show you quickly in the Stitch Simulator what it's going to do. If we come up here to the Stitch Simulator and we run it, the red color is first. The first thing it's going to do, it's going to make 2 lines of stitching. That's so we know where to place the zipper. Now I'm going to show all of this to you on my machine in just a few minutes. Okay, I just wanted to show you the materials that you'll need. I have 2 pieces of 6x6. That's for the inner part of the bag, the lining, and the outer part. I have 2 pieces that are 6x4, and I have 2 pieces that are 6x3. I also have my batting, which I've just used felt. One is 6x6, and these are all in the instructions. One is 5x3 and one is 5x2. Additionally, I have a zipper that's way longer than I need, which will be perfect. It's one with nylon teeth. I have a few pins, some tape that you'll really need. I also like to put my thumb drive into this extension right here to save my machine. And here's one that I've already finished. So let's now go to my machine. And by the way, I do already have my 4x4 hooped with a wash away stabilizer. Not the kind that you use for topping. This is more like the one that feels like cloth. So let's go over to my machine and get started. Okay, we're at my machine, and as I said, I have this extension for my USB. I've already put I'm going to put my hoop in now. And I'm going to use this to find what's on my USB drive. So I'm going to click on this button right here. It's retrieving the patterns. And then I just have to go through here until I find the one that I'm looking for. I have the really old machine, so notice my display is not that terrific, but I can still use it, and it's still a terrific little workhorse. So I think, let's see. Oh, there it was. There's the zipper bag. I'm going to click on that and then this little up arrow. And I'm ready to do step number 1 out of 12. Have this in. I'm just going to go ahead and put my presser foot down. It's going to make 2 lines of stitching so I know exactly where to place my zipper. Okay, it stitched the 2 lines of stitching. Now I know where to place my zipper. I'm going to take my zipper and have the tab facing up, and I'm going to put it so the tab is way off the edge here since my zipper is very long, and line it up, line the top of that up with the top line of stitching. Then I'm going to tape it in place. So, and I recommend that you use tape for things. I had done another video to show you. Unfortunately, I had a issue with it, so I wasn't able to save it because I had a really terrible blooper on there, and I'll show you later where the blooper was. Okay, you're only going to place the tape along the upper edge of the zipper. Then you're going to take your 4x6 or 6x4 piece of exterior, what's going to be on the outside, bag fabric, and you're going to place it along the bottom edge of the zipper, right here. So the right side is facing down. Place this along the bottom edge of your zipper. Okay, so go ahead and do this. And then once you place that on there, you're going to tape that into place. Now try to tape it very near to the edge so that your stitching doesn't go through it. And let's just kind of center it in the hoop. Let's start again. So I'm taking this piece right side down, putting it up over top of the zipper with this bottom edge lining up with the bottom of the zipper. It's a little confusing seeming to me, but believe me, it works. So you're going to tape this into place. And this is going to seem really strange as well, because what you're going to do now is you're going to flip the hoop over, totally flip your hoop over. Now this just taped into place. Flip this hoop over, and you're going to do the same thing on the back of this. So you're going to take the same piece. Well, actually, this would be your lining fabric, but again, it's the 6x4 piece of lining fabric, and you're going to place it along the bottom of the zipper. So since you can't really see through here, and you can't really see, well, you can see the zipper pretty well. Okay, here's the bottom of the zipper, and you can kind of see what's going to happen. This is going to be flipped down like this, and so on the opposite side it's going to happen also here. So again, you'll put this right side down on the bottom of the zipper, and I'm going to tape that in place. And for some reason right now I feel like I'm a little bit confused, and if you feel that way too when you're doing this, I'm going to show you what you need to do before you start stitching. So I'm going to tape this into place, and before I start stitching I'm going to fold this down and look, does this look right? That, because it's going to match this side. Okay, that looks perfect because that piece is going to be like that. This is the front of the zipper, and this is the lining of the zipper. Okay. Okay, so now step number 2 is going to stitch both of these pieces of fabric to the zipper. So again, make sure this is down to the bottom, taped in place, and this one's down to the bottom, taped in place. Now you need to make sure that they're both going up this way and not getting stitched underneath somehow. So I'm going to put this back under here, and I'm feeling to make sure I have this fabric in the back as well as the fabric in the front. Perfect. And then I'm going to stitch step number 2. If it goes over your tape, that's okay. Okay, now the instructions say to bring this out of the hoop and to take off all of your tape that you used. can fold this down to see how it's going to look, and fold the back down to see how that's going to look. It's going to look perfect just like that. Okay, this is the front of the bag, and this is the exterior fabric. This is the back of the bag, and this is the lining. You want to make sure that the lining fabric stays up out of the way of what you're going to be doing next. So at this point, sometimes I like to use a pin up here to hold that up out of the way. I have had disasters before where I've had to get my seam ripper out. Not necessarily at this point, but there's another point that's crazy. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your batting that is the 5 by 3 inch batting, and you're going to lay it right up here against that stitching you just did. So there's the stitching. Okay, lay that right up there against that stitching like so, because then what you're going to do is you're going to bring this piece down and smooth it down into place. And if you'd like to, you can take a pin way down here, another one of these flat pins, way down at the bottom, and put this pin in here to hold that into place. Or if you prefer, you can use tape to try to hold it in place too, to your hoop like that. Okay, so now we're on to step number 3, and what that's going to be is the placement stitch for the bunny's tail. For my bunny's tail, or for my bunny, I actually used felt. So that's what I'm going to use again. A little piece here for his tail, and then a little larger piece for the bunny. So this is the placement stitch. And so since it's done the placement stitch now, I'm going to look at that stitch, see how big it is, so I know how big of a piece do I need to have for my bunny's tail. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's about a little bit about the size of an eraser head. So I'm just going to cut a little piece off of my stuff that I have here, my felt, like that. And I can just place that right on top of here, and it should hold in place just fine. So now I'm going to put this back in, and it's going to do the tack down stitch. After it does the tack down stitch, I'm going to trim around it as close as I can get without cutting into the stitching. Take this back out, lift the presser foot up, take this out, and cut. And you can use maybe some little snip scissors like this to try to get at it. I like to use these sometimes. To me, they're very easy. Some of my friends that do embroidery do not like to use them, but I do. I think they work really well, especially if they're nice and sharp. So there's his little tail. I'll cut off the jump stitch. Next, for step number 5, it's going to do the placement stitch for the bunny's body. And I'll cut a piece of felt for that as well. And once yours starts going, if you'd like to, you can stop it to trim off these extra stitch or pieces of thread to keep it nice and neat. And again, with my felt, I'm just going to cut a piece that I know that will fit over the stitching that it's done for the bunny. So I can lift this up. Probably need to cut this on this machine, this thread. And I'll just set this over top, making sure that all of the bunny is covered, and then go ahead and do my tack down. After the tack down stitch, I'll once again cut around the bunny using my little snipping tools, and then it's going to do a satin stitch around both the bunny and the tail. So I'll meet you back here, or maybe I should show this since this is for beginners. Okay, lift this up, cut this thread, bring this out. Okay, now you can maybe see the bunny, probably not since it's white, but I'm going to start cutting around here as close as I can get, being careful not to cut the fabric underneath or too close where I, go through the stitches that are holding the bunny fabric down. But you can see these work pretty well. I'm having just a little bit of trouble because I'm trying to keep this so you guys can see it with the camera. Ordinarily it's not quite this strange looking. So I'm trying to cut close here too, right in there. I like these snippers for snipping in close. Okay. Again, I can snip. Sorry that my arm is probably in the way. And actually what I should have done, or what I should usually or should do, is to just kind of rough cut this at first and then come back with these little snippy tools and try to get in closer instead of trying to get in close like this right from the get-go. So now that that's cut off, it'll be a little easier for me to come in here and just kind of snip up some of this that's hanging out past the stitch lines a bit. Like that. Okay, or here. Of course, if you don't have this kind of scissors, you may have these type that are bent, and these are easy to use usually too. But I think that's pretty good. So now we'll go on to the next step, which is the satin stitch. I wish the satin stitch was a little bit broader than what it is to cover a little bit more if I don't get some of this felt off. But it turns out really cute. So let's do the next step. Put this down. This is step number 7, which is the satin stitch, and it's going to go around the bunny and the bunny's tail. So I'll meet you back here. Okay, the bunny is done stitching. Notice this time I did it in white. Oh, did I forget a business? Oh, I did. I took it out. Good thing I didn't do anything yet. Y'all, step number 8 is his eye. So let me go ahead and put this back in here, making sure nothing's getting in the way. And I've already put my black thread in there, so I'm ready to do his eyeball. So let's put the presser foot down, do his eye, and then we're ready to continue on. Alrighty, there he goes. Needs to have a little eyeball, for heaven's sakes. Okay, now take this out. And there he is. And now what I'm supposed to do is to remove the hoop like I just did. Flip the hoop over so I'm looking at the back side. Now I'm going to pull the bottom part of the lining down. The bottom part of the lining down and pin it into place. So I would make sure that you pin it into place. Go ahead and pull it down and pin it down here in place. And again, these flat pins are kind of nice to use here. This is where I had my big error before. And I want to make sure that my pins are not placed such that they're going to get run over and break a needle. So there we go. Right, that's good. All right. So after we do that, then we're supposed to remove the tape from that's holding down the zipper. Place the 6x3" piece of fabric, the 6x3" piece of fabric along the upper edge of the zipper and tape in place. Remember how we had done this before? So the fabric is pretty side or right side down. This is going to go up against the edge of the zipper because remember, after it's sewn, we're going to flip it up like that so you can tell it's going to look beautiful. So once you have this in place here, again, you're going to use your tape to tape it into place. I like to have my tape already taken off the roll so it's ready to roll, ready to go. So just like that, tape that, and I'll come over here and tape this part as well. Like so. And then we're going to flip the hoop over and repeat on this side. Okay, so I'm going to take that 6x3" piece of fabric right side down, and we're going to pin it. Let's see, how would we do this? I have to think for a minute. I'm going to do it so that it's like this, and it's going to go like that. So this long edge is going to go to the bottom of the zipper here, or the line of stitching if you can't see the zipper. So once again, I'm going to tape this into place. Now remember, before I start stitching anything though, I'm going to look and fold these pieces the way they're going to go and see if it makes sense to me. If not, I'll have time to fix it before I make a mistake. Okay, there we go. All right. So this piece is going to be sewn here and flip. All right, and oh, I don't think that's right. Let's look at this piece. This piece is here. I'm going to flip. No. Actually, that looks like that's right. So there it is. It looks weird, doesn't it? Look at this. Now yours is going to look like this too. When you flip this up, look how much of the zipper is exposed there when I pull it all the way up. But that's just because of where I have it taped. So that is right. So don't get scared. Let's look at the back and make sure it's proper. So it's going to go like this, and it's going to flip like that. But it's going to be sewn about like that. So that looks good too. So here's the thing. We got to put this back in here now. Carefully making sure that the pieces stay where we want them to stay. Okay, I can kind of feel under here and make sure. All right. Both sides have the right side facing towards the bag, facing down. And we're supposed to stitch this step now, which is step number 9. And I did it with my black, but that's okay. It really won't show. So now, but I will change it before I do my little bunnies. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And I believe it says to remove your tape on all parts. And then you're going to fold the lining fabric that you just stitched down so it's out of the way. See how it's down out of the way? And I'm going to tape that down out of the way because I know that I might have an accident. So I'm taping that lining fabric. This is the front of the bag. This is the back. I've taped the lining fabric down. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead, because what I want to do is I just want to stitch to the exterior of the bag fabric on the front and the batting, and it's going to stitch the little bunnies. So I'm going to take this, get my batting, and line it up like this again, like we had done before, right up here, right? Then we're going to fold this up like this, and we can pin it into place right here. Pinning it should be just fine because it's just doing a few little bunnies up here. And I think I'll try them. Last time I did it in the pink and it didn't show up at all. So this time I'm thinking I might try it in white. Okay, so again, the lining is out of the way. We don't want to stitch through the lining. We just want to stitch through the front of the bag and the batting. And I'm going to put this back in here. But before I start stitching step number 10, I am going to change the color of my thread because I want it to be white. Okay, ready for the 3 little bunnies. Okay, the little bunnies up here really don't show up, and it's probably because I have a patterned fabric. If you have a solid color fabric, maybe they'd show up a little bit better. But at this point now, what we're supposed to do is remove all of these tapes and pins and lay a 6 by 6 inch piece of exterior bag fabric. So we have another one of those left on the front of the hoop with the right side facing down. So we want to put this right on here with the right side facing down. And you're going to place the other batting on top of that. Pin this batting on top of it. Pin as close to the upper and lower edges as you can. Make sure that your lining fabric is at the back of the hoop and it's positioned the same as the front of the hoop. So this backing fabric or the lining has to be like this. And so we're going to take this and pin these all together, and trying to make sure that the pins are going to be out of the way of the stitching. So I'm pinning, then I'm going to come back and look and see, did I pin that properly? Okay, that looks good. All right, let's see what we got here. So it said to lay the 6 by 6 inch piece of exterior bag fabric on the front right side facing down. Place the remaining piece of batting on top of that. Pin as close to the upper and lower edges of the hoop as you can. Make sure that the lining fabric that is at the back of the hoop is positioned the same as the front of the hoop. The upper portion should be pulled up and the lower portion pulled down. Okay, just like that. And then you're going to take this to the machine and stitch. And this would be, y'all, I think I almost forgot something really totally important. OMG. Do not do this. Oh my gosh. Before we do this part, oh my gosh, if you don't do this, your bag's going to be ruined. Make sure that you open your zipper. Make sure that you open your zipper 3/4 of the way. Now, not so far that it's going to get stuck in the stitching over here, the tab, but it's open. If you don't do that, you're in trouble plenty. So, the first thing you do is open the zipper 2/3 of the way. Do not forget this step. Oh, if you forget this step, you're in trouble. Now, I notice when I turn this over to the back, look at that buckling up. I don't like that. So I'm going to take this pin out and repin it, pulling that lining fabric down. So there, that's much better now, much better. The other thing that I might want to do is to go ahead and put some tape along these edges here, and here for now. Okay. Then we're going to take this to the machine, making sure nothing gets put where it doesn't belong, and put this in, and you can feel under here and feel where the pieces are. That looks good. Put this on the machine. Feeling in the back, looking here in the front. Okay, now we're ready for step number 11. Make sure that your zipper's open. Now we're going to turn this over, and I got it buckled up just a little bit. If that really frustrates me, I can take my seam ripper and fix that. See, this little piece didn't stay. It says with these little bags, oftentimes this happens, and sure enough, it did happen right here. But you know what? I think it's going to be just fine. If you'd like, if this happens to you and it gets buckled up like that a little bit like mine did, you can take your seam ripper and rip that out. Well, maybe I should do that for you to show you. I don't know where my seam ripper is, otherwise I'd do it. Take your seam ripper and rip this little bit out so that it's not like that, and you can redo it. Okay, but I think we're good like this. So now what we're going to do is this. We're going to do the next step, which is the final step. You're going to flip your hoop over so you're looking at the back side. And here's the back side with my mess up. Oh, I hope it still works even with that mess up. I should find my seam ripper, y'all, but this video is just taking so long because I've already done one that got messed up because, well, it just got messed up. It wouldn't work. So I had to redo this whole thing, and that's why I have two of them. But anyway, flip the hoop over so you're looking at the back side. Place the 6x6 lining fabric over top of this, right side facing down again, making sure that you're covering all the stitches. It says secure it in place with tape, but my tape, I don't really like using that much, so I'm going to use a pin to pin it. Like that, and take this pin out and this pin out, and I'll pin on this side right here, down here like this, because I prefer using pins if possible, like that. I think they work a lot better than trying to use tape. Okay, let's go. So then we're going to go ahead and make sure that all the stitches are covered, secured. Go back to the machine and stitch the last step. Okay, here we go. Feeling again, ready to roll, go. All right, so we're done with this part, and we can now take it out of the hoop. Keep your fingers crossed that my recording is still recording and everything is going well. Pop this on out. And then you trim within 1/4 inch of this stitching. You can trim right through your zipper. I get my scissors from the Dollar Tree, so I use them for pretty much everything. I don't have any exact fabric scissors here. I just have a pile of Dollar Tree craft scissors. That, check it out. Look how well they're working. They're cutting through all these layers of fabric. Now, I can tell you this. This is going to be a harder bag to turn than a larger one. So you people that are new, don't get really frustrated about that, because the larger bags, when you make them, will be easier to turn. So what you're going to do is look for this spot right here where there's a hole in here, and you're going to start turning this. Like I said, this part is not easy. It's going to take me a few minutes to get this turned the way it needs to be. Okay, so I'm just kind of pushing this in, pushing and pulling it, and doing the best I can. So sometimes you can move some of this and kind of pull this through. Yeah. So see, it feels like I'm at a stopping point and it's not going to work, but you keep working with it because it definitely does work. It just takes a little bit of stick-to-itiveness to get it going. If you can get 2 corners through, here comes the second one, then you'll be happy. I mean, I am not having an easy time, as you can see. So don't worry if you don't either. It's starting to come now, though. I have a second corner through, and that's helpful when that happens. Okay. Here we go. Oh, now it's coming along. And once you get this through, you're going to be like, well, what in the world is this? It doesn't even, it's not a bag. What is this thing? Well, just you wait and see. If you've not made one of these. Like I said, the bigger bags are a lot easier to make than this little tiny guy here. He is not easy. I think I use your thumb or something pointy to kind of poke out these corners a little bit. You're going to be turning this again, so don't work too hard on that part. Okay, so there it is. And now, like I said, you're going to be like, what is this? Is this the bag? Is this the bag? What is this? Nope. This is where you need your seam ripper. So I guess I will have to find my seam ripper in this mess. Oh no. Shucks. Alright, since I don't know where my seam ripper is, I'm going to do something that's dangerous. I highly recommend you use a seam ripper instead of something like this. But what you're going to do is you're just going to cut through the stuff that is your tear away or your wash away stabilizer. You don't want to cut your fabric at all, but you can get close if you like, a little bit. Just don't cut it. Because now, once you get this part done, then you have to flip it one more time. There's that. And of course, since this is wet away or wash away, I could not even, don't even have to do this. I could just take a wet towel and do it. See, this is why it was important that we leave our zipper open, because now we have to flip this right side out again. And then you're going to see our cute little bunny and how this thing is actually an adorable little bag. Little it is. You know what I think they'd be perfect for? Holding your little earbuds or something like that. Or, you know, if you're making these for little kids, they probably would love to have some little special trinket in here of some sort. So you can use your thumb or something pointy to push those corners out like that. And like this. Get up in there. Push it out to make it look nice and neat. And then, if you wanted to, before you turn this, you could have stitched the inside of the bag. But I didn't feel that was necessary. So there is this bag all finished. And here's the first one that I did that had the pink around it. So aren't those cute? I think they turn out really sweet. So I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you grab this free bag. I think Cher oftentimes has free bags there that you can grab. Or buy some from her. Support her. Look, see if she has some bigger ones too, because like I said, the bigger ones are a little bit easier to make. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. I'll see y'all again real soon. Let me know in the comments if you liked it or have any questions. Also, email me at teampattyN@gmail.com if you have something in specific that you would like me to do a video on. So, thanks again. Bye, y'all.